Hello and welcome to the Week 6 edition of the Monster Pod, brought to you by thelines.com. Matt Brown, Steven Andrews, joined this week by 4for4's Connor Allen. Chargers on the road at the Broncos. This is 3 across the board in favor of the Chargers. 35.5 is our total. Connor, in a game that with a 35.5 total, I was contractually obligated to play the Broncos. It's written into my life contract that in a 35, if I'm getting a field goal on a team at home with a defense that I can at least feel comfortable about, I have to take the points with the Broncos. This is not a Bo Nix take. This isn't a whatever. This is a, hey, the defense is pretty good. The Chargers want to play 1945 football, and the total's 35.5, and I'm getting a full field goal. That is basically the extent of the handicap for me here in this one. I actually do think in a game that might come down to whoever has the ball last, that they are live to just win it outright. But if you're going to give me the full field goal, I'll take the full field goal.
Yeah, I tend to lean the same direction. I think one of the biggest surprises this entire season is how good the Denver Broncos defense has been.
Mm-hmm.
Riley Moss is playing awesome opposite Patrick Surtain. They're blitzing a bunch. They're getting pressure. Their run defense is top 5 in a bunch of metrics. I don't know what happened in the offseason here, but they're playing well, and they played well against reasonably good offenses. And now they get an offense that I don't think is very good. Their tackles at least look like they could come back with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. Look like they're somewhat healthy-ish, but you got Gus Edwards popping up in the injury report. J.K. Dobbins before the bye was really struggling in the last 2 games. Wasn't very efficient. Maybe that had to do with the offensive line, but either way, I think it's one of those games where this is going to be ugly. I don't really see either team having much success here. If they do, maybe it's on the ground a little bit here, but it's just going to be slow, boring. I don't even know if I'm going to watch this. I'm sure I will, but I'll have it on. But I'm going to try my best not to, because this is going to be a rough afternoon game here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The interesting thing to me, we've mentioned this a couple different times over the last few weeks, is just it's not even the emergence of Pat Surtain, the fact that he is literally able to be that dude that goes out there and just literally shuts down the other team's number one. That's just kind of a cool deal. We had that in years past with corners and stuff, where we would just be oh, this is you're heading to Revis Island or whatever, all the things like that. And it's Surtain is doing that on a week in, week out basis. Steven, if you look, there's not a lot to jump up and down about the Broncos offense. That's for sure. That said, the offensive line has been fairly solid. Bo Nix has at least has avoided just being a turnover machine so far. So, again, if we're just trying to point at some positives, right, for the offensive side of the ball, they're not putting very many points on the board, but hey, you don't have to put very many points on the board in a 35-point total to keep this thing within a field goal. So that's kind of where I'm at. What say you?
No, and the defense, the Chargers defense that they're facing this week, I think we can shoot a lot more holes in than we can the Denver defense, to Connor's point, with the schedule that the Broncos defense has had to play. The Chargers sample here that's kind of putting them in the advanced metrics in that top tier includes a Bryce Young game, includes a Gardner Minshew game, includes a Justin Fields game. And if we look at just the 1 week where they played the Chiefs, the Chargers were 19th in success rate allowed in that game. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot more questions about the Chargers defense than I do the Broncos defense. Now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around if this is still Justin Herbert versus Bo Nix, right? And Herbert has been pretty good against the blitz in his career. He gets both of his tackles back. That's the only thing stopping me from pressing the button, because I agree with you, Matt. It's one of the most basic tenets in NFL betting. When it's a crazy low total and you're getting a full field goal, you just bet it. So it's just that one aspect with Herbert getting his 2 tackles back that gives me a little bit of pause. But if Harbaugh's just going to establish it nonstop, then it may not matter. So I'm probably going to be with you. I haven't quite pulled the trigger yet because of those tackles being back.
Guys, everything we do absolutely free, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Do appreciate that. If you have not checked out 4for4 and all that Connor and team over there are doing, you got to go over there, get in on that. Not just sports betting. I know this is a sports betting podcast. They got your fantasy needs as well, so don't give up yet. It's only week 6. I know it sucks. You're looking at your team and going I have no chance because all my guys are injured. Well, guess what? Other people have injured people too, so they'll help you figure all this out over there at 4for4. If you haven't done so already as well, lines.com, upper right-hand corner, absolutely free Discord. You can go in there and chat all sports all season long. For Connor, for Steven, I'm Matt. Good luck on all your week 6 bets.